Well, welcome back to Inside Personal Growth. This is Greg Voisen, the host of Inside Personal Growth. And many of my listeners know, Isaac, that I go to the Natural Products West Expo every year. And I always find very interesting people and interesting companies there because there's just so many of them. Many of them trying to do good for the world like you are. And those are the ones that I try and pick up on. Not somebody that's just trying to shove another product down into the world, but somebody who wants to do good. We have Isaac Shapiro on the other end of the line joining us from Cleanlogic, and they're based in New York. Good day to you, Isaac. How are you?
Well, hello, Greg. Nice to see you again, and thank you for having me on your podcast.
Well, I'm glad we got you on. We had to kind of keep figuring out our calendars to get something going, but we did get it done, and it's a pleasure having you on. And for all of you who are interested in learning more, and we'll put a link up, it's Cleanlogic, CLEANLOGIC.com. Very easy to get to, very beautiful website. Well done, Isaac. And you can learn about the Cleanlogic lines, the eco-friendly exfoliation set, and everything that they've got going. But I think as important or more important is, how this company got going. And so, Isaac, if you would, tell us a little about the inspiration behind Cleanlogic, how you got this company started, and kind of you put your mission out on the website, very big and bold, and I like that, so that these individuals who are listening today can understand more, not only about your product, but really what you're doing to help the world.
Yeah, and I think it all started with my passion to travel the world. And my senior year in college, had an idea to be an import company. And so we started with products from South America and Hispanic foods, frozen fish, and cleaning products. And so that was as you were starting up in college and learning where you fit. That's where we started to get our business acumen. And in 2006, right before I met my business partner, we wanted to continue to expand our line, and we created Cleanlogic as a solution around solving the rough exfoliation of loofahs that my mom always had in her shower, or a lot of the products are plastic made around the mesh sponges or even the Korean cloth. So we really wanted to focus on bringing in something unique that was our stretch fiber technology, and where you could exfoliate on a daily basis. So it's been a little bit of a journey, as we were serial entrepreneurs and trying to figure out our products. But really, in 2014 is where we really started to focus our business more on Cleanlogic and being exfoliating experts.
Well, people listening to this show, there's probably many of them out there that don't use a loofah to exfoliate their skin. I was one of them until I ran into you. I'd tried them before. I really had. And you gave me a sample to take home. And I have to admit, it's got a little handle. It's unique. It's very great on the skin. In other words, it's not as rough. Some of them I've had before have been rough. Speak with us a little bit, if you would, Isaac, because obviously your company has done a lot of research in this, about exfoliation, about how important it is. I mean, I go to a dermatologist, and I'll tell you, I don't know if this does anything for skin cancers, but one of my other doctors has said that I'm the dermatologist's cutting board, because I have had literally basal cell and squamous cell carcinomas that removed many, many times, because I'm fair complected and I ride a bike a lot. But tell us a little bit about exfoliation. Tell us about your product, why people should really do this, because I don't think enough of the world is really doing it.
Yeah, well, if you think about the evolution of exfoliation, it's with the Turkish bathhouse and the Korean culture where they start at age 2. When you look at where we tried to accomplish, we wanted to tie our product to soap. And so we know a lot of people use mesh sponges that are the plastic mesh balls that you see in every store, and those create lather. But when you look at what we're doing, we're creating a product that's a unique fabric that we manufactured to actually gently exfoliate the skin daily. And so what that allows you to do is to use your favorite soap, but to remove the dead skin cells. So think about, the skin is your largest organ on your body. You think about, snakes and how they change out there. So this is how we look at exfoliation as a way to continue to rejuvenate your skin, and it's not so abrasive on your skin. We've also created sensitive skin, so it's not as exfoliating. It's a little bit more silky. So when you look at the Japanese culture, they're very big in bathing and using more of a silk-based product, but we still have our nylon loop fibers that create the exfoliating fabric. And so another thing that is important in thinking about the raw material we're using it, we're a cut and sew. So because we're a fabric, think about it as wearing clothing on your skin, whereas a lot of the stuff that people are using, it's plastic based. And so that it doesn't really exfoliate and rejuvenate the skin.
So is that one of the reasons that put you in this category of being eco-friendly? Because you are using fabric, you're not, and again, I mean, there are fabrics that are nylon as well. How are you sourcing the actual loofah itself? And then what are the materials that are going into it? Because my listeners would want to know. And as far as sustainability, how long does one of these last? And then when I discard it, is there ability for it to compost someplace? Or what's the factors there, cradle to cradle?
Yeah, well, just to understand our Cleanlogic brand, we have 4 collections: our Bath and Body, our Detox, which is our charcoal infused line, and our Sport line, which is more gender neutral but geared towards after workout, more men, so a little bit dark colors. And what we really what we're positioning that is the exfoliation. You can continue to reuse your product, but where we are really positioning ourselves and leading the way in terms of sustainability is with our Cleanlogic sustainable line and infusing it with cotton. And part of what our strategy around the organic cotton is, we're using it in terms of being control union certified. That's where it gives visibility and certification of where our organic cotton and that it is FDA certified. So that's where we've really positioned ourselves in sustainability for Cleanlogic. And another aspect that we're looking at sustainability is how we are diversifying our supply chain, because we also look at what your impact is on the environment. And so one of the things that we're doing in majority of this category is made in China. We're really leveraging our ability to build factories. So we own the factory in China, but as we make another initiative to be more sustainable, we're making the product here in the US and actually looking to set a goal where 75% of our workforce will be people with individuals with disabilities. So when we look at sustainability, there's more than just like, hey, what ingredients. We're looking at even, the environmental impact and how we're trying to continue to improve our core line, which I had mentioned, and then our sustainable line, where we're trying to really set
you're moving toward, and you probably already are there, but bringing the labor a little closer here, even though the product may cost a little more, I understand, but to have a factory either in the state of New York or someplace where the labor is probably pretty inexpensive. But at the same time, there's a story behind the story, and every product at Cleanlogic has Braille packaging. Your mother is blind, and that inspired you, I'm certain, to do this. Why is it, and then if you hire the blind or visually impaired people to work in your production lines, you're putting people to work. You also are funding nonprofits, or do you have your own nonprofit that you have created at this point, Isaac?
Yeah, we have our own nonprofit called the Inspiration Foundation. It's a family foundation that my business partner and I founded to help fund technology grants where blind agencies or nonprofits that serve the blind and visually impaired are providing tech training to use adaptive technology to gain employment. So that's where we've been able to work with our foundation and partner with other nonprofits to help with their technology needs.
Interesting. So Cleanlogic, beside it being ecologically friendly, using cotton, what I noticed in the use as a product is when you get it wet, your product, uh, it's not like any other loofah when you get it wet. Yours is more pliable, it feels better on the skin, yet it's still doing the same job. Um, your brand is known for using these natural and organic products. How do you ensure the quality of these products that are kind of being put in here? You said you're looking to the source of where all of this is coming from, and that you've now found new sources and new ways of actually making these products to make them more environmentally friendly. When somebody, number one, let's just talk about the product for a second itself. Once I've used it up and I need to throw it away and get a new one because I know it's not doing the job, how many uses can I use it? How long can I use it for? Body washings. And two, how do I know when it's time to actually discard it and get another one?
So we always love this question because it is a personal preference. Just like when you use your toothbrush at home, they recommend when it goes away in terms of color or how it feels on your teeth, or a kitchen sponge. It really is a personal preference, but our products are reusable. Since it is a fabric, people choose to wash it. Most people that we see in terms of the average consumer, is changing out their product every 2 to 6 months. When you look at our product, really we try to make sure if you're exfoliating, you get dead skin cells in there. So we really recommend to change it out, every 3 to 6 months, depending on the preference. Because I do know, reusability is important for other people. And then there's other people that are germaphobes that are changing them every 30 days. And you see a lot of the recommendations for the mesh sponges to change every 30 days. But that is an advantage with our product, especially for people that are eco-conscious, is that you can wash the product.
So you can actually put it in the washing machine, take it out, and reuse it again. And until you feel like maybe it's lost some of its ability to exfoliate your skin, which is good to know. Now, this product fits in, I'm just going to say, the beauty industry, right? It's like, okay, I would assume people that do, like later today, I'm having a facial, right? So I would assume the lady that does the facials knows all about exfoliation. I'm making an assumption here, but the industry is evolving. You see it evolving. They're using new products, they're using new things. I was just telling you about solid soaps, right? Solid shampoos, I should say. Where is it going, particularly in terms of sustainability and responsibility to the environment? I do know that the solid shampoo market is growing exponentially to get rid of plastics in the environment, right? And it's doing a good job. I mean, we're talking about 1 million plastic bottles a minute that are literally being discarded in the US into some trash somewhere, right? So tell us a little bit about where you think this industry is going. What do you see on the horizon?
Well, what we see in this category, it was very commoditized when we entered in 2006. So 90% of the sales came from that mesh plastic sponge. And what I think at some point, there's going to be an evolution around, is it the next plastic straw where, people want to get away from it. There's other pieces that you could do to, make it more environmentally friendly, which we're working on. But where we're really focused on is getting people to respect and use a Cleanlogic bath skincare tool as part of your everyday beauty regimen. So when you think about the lotions and potions, and you see you're going to get a facial, well, you can go in today into Target or even Walmart and see $50 to $100, silicone vibrating machine. So what we see is the tool market is becoming kind of the next part of the liquid routine, and maybe you're not going to have so many lotions and potions, and maybe we can come up with a way to track using less product that you're putting in a plastic bottle. But in reality, what we see is people coming to our exfoliating category, making it part of the everyday beauty routine, and then since our product is more reusable, being able to cut back on the amount of plastic mesh sponges that are sold. And that's what we're seeing today. About 3 years ago, we saw, and we did an area where we had 22% of our sales came from our exfoliators. Today, it's over 40% of our sales and 50% come from our mesh sponges. So we continue to trade up the customer and bring them into using our products as part of their everyday beauty routine.
I would say that is important. It's like an education process, and I know when I met you at the show, and I'll just say this speaking for probably many of the listeners out there, you can exfoliate arms, hands, legs, all these areas of your body by using your product, which I do. But when it comes to the face, and actually taking it and scrubbing the face, some of us have some pretty sensitive skin, especially that's been exposed to the sun as frequently as mine has. And you can actually see that about my skin on this camera. I find it challenging. What do you have for individuals that maybe don't want something as rough that they can use on the face, that they can actually get the same benefits from?
Sorry, I have a barking dog behind me here and trying to get that. I apologize.
That's okay. I'm sure you heard the question.
Yeah, I heard the question. So when you think about sensitive skin, we have created a couple products in terms of facial care. So when you think about sensitive skin, we do have makeup remover cloths on one side where you can remove the makeup and then you can gently exfoliate. So it's, like I said, a much softer, almost like a silk type feeling to our dual texture facial buffers on there. So those are where we, know it's important because people are using liquid to exfoliate, but this is just another way, especially as we know the younger generation is moving away from like cotton balls and using more of a makeup remover cloth that's more sustainable to the environment.
Now you sell these kits, and these kits have all kinds of different products in them. And people, when you go to the website, where can my listeners get this? What major retailers now are you in? The website is a great place. Is it sold on Amazon? I noticed that you're giving a 20% off for the first order, which is pretty common. People do that. Would they be better off to go to your website? Can they get it at a local retailer? Can they get it on Amazon? Explain the distribution right now of that, because you have a big presence on social media. When you go to his website, I'm just going to say this, it's extremely well done. It's easy to shop at and check out and have them just send it to you direct. But they might want to know the other places they can go.
Yeah, and I'm going to start nationally there. So Amazon, obviously, most of us using it today, we do a 3-pack size there, so that's where we know the customer is buying more than single pack. So that's obviously sold nationally and internationally. And then we are in Walmart on there, and then we're at Sprouts. So when you take a look at a lot of our sustainable line, you will find us at majority of the national retailers around the United States, like Mothers and Moms, in some of those regional areas. So those are really where we, see ourselves being true accessible. And then we're in majority of like some great, regional retailers like H-E-B, Publix, Meijer. So that's where you'll find a lot of our distribution is at grocery, since we know they sell a lot of soap.
So you're in grocery stores, some limited grocery stores. And if the listeners want to reach a retailer where they can get it, Do you list the retailers at the website?
We have not done that yet, and that's
Okay.
actually a good point. So we haven't set that up as anything on our website. So most
Okay.
people have called in or called
Okay.
us.
So they
Uh,
really have two choices if they don't know, if they don't find it on a shelf someplace, they literally can go to your website, which is cleanlogic.com, or they can go to Amazon and buy various products which are listed on Amazon. But that would be the two best ways to go about it.
yes, and
Okay.
thank you for mentioning my website as well.
Oh, not a problem. Of course, we would do that. Now, look, we talked about the Braille. We talked about the fact that your mom is blind, that you are going to be building a plant that's going to hire and inclusion. And it's a really important point. Um, you know, I used to raise funds for a school that had 12 group homes and 650 autistic kids. And the reality is they wanted to put those kids to work at what we call kind of regional centers, right? So a lot of them could work on assembly lines, they could function. And in your case, we're revisiting this, but I think this is really important because diversity inclusion, it ensures the value is reflected in kind of your hiring practices to put these individuals to work and to give them a living wage. Currently, right now, what's the makeup? You said most of it's in China. When do you foresee maybe having something here and doing more of that? Are you on track to hit something pretty soon?
Oh yeah, so we've actually been testing this concept for a little bit over a year and a half. It started during the time when, the supply chain challenges, increase in ocean freight, and my business partner and I have always had an idea to do some type of manufacturing in the US. But where it got personal is my business partner's daughter is neurodiverse and physically disabled. And one of the things that he's always thought about is creating a place where he could create a workforce where he can send his daughter to work and does not have to worry about it and live an independent life. And so this is what gave, the idea to creating something sustainable because we knew prices would come back down. And so this was a great way to finally move forward. And so we are actually going live in September with Walmart stores in doing an assembled USA program where it's going to be test piloting for all their stores, one of our sensitive stretch cloth items. So today we have 28 employees. And during this journey in about a year and a half, our whole mission around inspiration was around vision loss. But this movement, in terms of understanding what we had to do and working with the Department of Labor and other federal and state and nonprofit agencies, we knew we couldn't do this with just a blind and visually impaired workforce. So even though 70% are unemployed, we know some of the challenges. They're not everybody, because the discrimination within the disabled community is so high that Social Security keeps a lot of people from seeking employment. And even some of the challenges we're seeing today is that because Social Security is such a part of the subconscious of people with disabilities, that even getting them to work full time. And so it's been a journey, and we're there. We're being able to go live with this project and starting to go September. And then the way we will differentiate packaging between made in China and US as we look to onshore our program to the US, that's where we'll be differentiating our assembled in USA and then finally our made in USA facility.
Yeah, and I know, Isaac, there's a lot of guidelines you have to follow to actually be able to say the product one was manufactured here because a certain amount of it needs to be assembled and put together here, all of those requirements. And then if there were any government subsidy programs associated with it to put these people to work. And I think it's a good thing that you're doing, and there needs to be more of it. You guys now employ 27, did you say, people that are kind of
28.
doing 28 people that are doing this work? Is the future for Cleanlogic kind of expanding? Do you see other beauty and or household items that you're going to potentially grow into the future? Are you going to kind of keep it as beauty products and beauty line? Because right now the SKUs, you've got a lot of SKUs as it is, right? But have you seen a demand for what you're making in other places that you might be using it?
Yeah, we've seen a lot, and it's been, just a little bit more background on Cleanlogic. About 3 years ago, we did a rebrand, and it's a special rebrand since the agency we use is one that my wife works with, and she's been in branding for her whole career. And so she's the one that really changed the look and feel, giving us the mission, that was clear to the consumer and what we really did throughout these last 15 years and putting it into this new look. And so what we feel is we still have a way to continue to go deeper and get more people to use our products. So that's what we're really excited around this April launch, around this new packaging and a ribbon cutting where we're going to bring in our governor and, hoping to bring some other attendees that we've been talking to. But where we see is, where can we take our fabric deeper? So we know baby's an area that we could look at. We do have a home kitchen sponge line that we're going to probably convert and over to Cleanlogic, using our technology. But right now we are really focused on being the #1 bath and skincare tool brand in the world, because there's never been a brand in this category in the world. It's been a private label or some importer. So we're also trying to stay focused on, really the body care line and driving it deep, and where else can we sell. So it's that fine balance of, hey, new is great and you need to be new, but as we've been bringing in more professionals and executive professionals that help us grow the brand, it's about how deep can we go with our customer base before we really try to start looking at what other categories. So that's how we've been viewing it, in a balancing act of keeping new important, but still knowing we have a lot more to grow with our current business.
Well, you do. And just for my listeners, so they do know the mission, Cleanlogics, I'm going to read it, are committed to offering the highest quality bath and body accessories. That's why we act responsibly and sustainably. That's why we treat our customers with respect and care. We believe there is a power in being nice and clean, because when you put it nice and clean together, you have the foundation of a better body, a better world, and a better future. So I love it. In 2018, they launched the sustainable line of certified organic cotton exfoliants. So for those listeners who want to know more, you're going to go to Cleanlogic, CLEANLOGIC.com. It's a great brand. It's a great product. And it's something that, when you think about it, has more ability, you say nice and clean, to keep you clean, right? And that's so important in everywhere around the world. I was speaking with the people at Clean the World. You probably know that one. So they take all the old soaps out of hotels, they grind them up, they put new perfumes in them, or whatever it is exactly they do, and then they distribute them to places in the world where disease is rampant, right? Where like people are actually dying because they're not staying clean. And those soaps have made a huge difference because they've given them away in certain areas, and they're doing it with the homeless as well in all these major cities. Do you have anything on the horizon that would take some of these Cleanlogic products and maybe provide them to communities like that are in need of, you obviously are working with people that are visually impaired. There seems to be a need in that area. Is that something you've been thinking about?
We've actually done some partnerships with nonprofits, especially in Los Angeles, where they actually provide showers
Right.
for people with homeless, and it's actually been great because, excuse me, the feedback we received was most of the time they receive like a bar of soap or something, and it's not something they can really take, but the tool is almost something that they have as like ownership and they can take with them because they're not going to reuse it. So we have, done some partnerships, and trying to figure out how to make it sustainable. But that's where we have taken it so far, but really been focusing on our, disabilities mission.
Well, you've got a lot of opportunity here, Isaac, and it's very obvious. You've got a great website where people can go to buy these pre-bundled solutions or individual products as well. And again, I want to encourage my listeners, if you're looking for a way to exfoliate your skin, do it with this eco-friendly, sustainable product sourced and help the people that are visually impaired in the process. Cleanlogic is the company that you want to go to, and that would be my commercial. Go to cleanlogic.com to do that, and you will, in your first order, get 20% off, or just go to Amazon and go shop in Amazon for Cleanlogic products. Isaac, is there anything that you'd like to leave the listeners with today, kind of about your company, the direction, the reason that they may want to use your product, or have you basically told them everything through all the questions I've asked?
No, I think the one thing to close it and bring the mission to feel really good about supporting Cleanlogic, our whole goal is to inspire all to be independent and successful. And when you think about that, especially in the community with individuals with disabilities, really we're trying to inspire more companies to bring the products back into the U.S. to manufacture, and also to think about, even if you're not in the manufacturing field, because we're looking at places in accounting and marketing. So it's not just in our manufacturing facility, that we're looking, to bring people into work. But I think what we're really trying to do and what our why is through the foundation and through our journey of building this factory, because we're employing people with autism, we have someone with hearing impairment, we're now doing all disabilities. And so for what's important for the listeners is to understand is that with every purchase that they're creating job opportunities, and with our inspiring story, we're looking to bring our industry together where we can increase employment by 10% by 2035. And so this is where our mission is really trying to make a bigger impact outside of just the products we make. We want other companies to be thinking about the same, especially by creating an inclusive workforce with people with disabilities, since many of these DEI, statements that you see out there, which are amazing because it's paving the way for accessibility and bringing people in with disabilities, but it's really trying to make sure that you really are thinking about people with disabilities, since many of them are unemployed.
Well, if any of my listeners want to reach out to you about what you're doing, are you open to do that? They can reach you through the website and basically send an email to you, Isaac, if they've got a company and they're interested in learning more about what Cleanlogic is doing.
Yes, of course. I've always remember when I first started my business that, you have people that help you along the way. So I still have a heart for making sure that we continue in this great country to create more entrepreneurs.
Well, thank you so much. Namaste to you, my friend. Thanks for being on
Okay, thank
Inside
you.
Personal Growth, spending some time with our listeners. Again, we've been on with Isaac Shapiro from New York. His company is called Cleanlogic. He and I met at the Natural Products West Expo a couple of months ago, and it's really wonderful to profile your company, the good that you're doing for the visually impaired and others that are working in the factories making these goods and putting them out into the world. And also thank you for making something that's ecologically sustainable and ecologically sourced. So we appreciate all that you're doing. Thanks so much, Isaac, and best of luck to you as Cleanlogic moves forward and distribution gets bigger.
And great. Thank you, Greg, for the opportunity to tell our story, and keep up your great work and continue to feature companies like ourselves.
Appreciate that.